Hey guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com. So today we're going to be learning fingerpicking Etude number 7. So this is actually a really great piece for the intermediate player, and it has an interesting right-hand fingerpicking approach. So we're going to talk about that in just a second, but before we do, I want to mention that this lesson is going to be part 1, and in part 1 we're going to be learning the entire first melody. So if you guys want to learn the second melody, we're going to be covering that in part 2 of the video lesson at rockclass101.com. There you'll also be able to get the tabs that you can download and print off and follow along with, and access the on-screen tab viewer. Now this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time, highlight bars, loop sections, slow it down to whatever speed you wish. Just a great asset in learning this song that much easier. All right, so before we kick into the lesson, let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things. So we already mentioned the right hand technique is a little bit interesting. It's a two-finger picking approach. So it's only going to be the thumb and the index finger. Now what makes it interesting is that we're going to be using the third and the fourth finger to kind of stabilize the ukulele body. It's basically a mix of holding the body and stabilizing it. And the reason that we're going to be doing this is because this song jumps all the way up here to play these harmonics on the 12th fret. So when we're playing from down here at the very beginning of the neck and jumping all the way up, it's going to be a lot easier if we ensure that the body and the neck is completely stabilized. So that's kind of the reason behind this approach, is that we want to keep it perfectly still. So all you guys have to do is take the fingertips of the third and the fourth finger and put it right where the body of the ukulele curves in. So you're just going to put it right there, the fingertips, and that's just going to hold it up. So you can practice just holding it up like that. These three fingers are going to float. So one thing that we want to point out too is that while you're picking with the thumb and the index finger, that middle finger just kind of stays curved. It's floating, it's not doing anything. So we don't want to put it down there because it really limits the movement of the first and the thumb. So we want to just keep it floating, and that'll give us a lot more movement for our thumb and our index finger. So now that we have an understanding of the position of the right hand and how it stabilizes the body of the ukulele, let's talk about the thumb and the index finger. Now throughout this entire piece, your thumb is going to be playing string 4 and string 3, while your index finger will be playing string 2 and string 1. So no matter what you play, your thumb will always get 4 and 3, your index will always get 2 and 1. So a great way to practice is you can do a little kind of a string skipping exercise real quick. So for example, I could go 3, 2, 4, 1, just open strings. So that's thumb, index, index. You can just loop that and just get used to how it's kind of feels in your right hand. All right, so let's talk about the second thing. This song jumps between different time signatures. So we're going from 4/4 to 2/4 to 3/4. So it's a little tricky, but when we break it down in the lesson, you'll realize that, oh, that's not too hard, and oh, that actually sounds really cool. All right, so let's kick into melody A. So here's what bar number 1 sounds like. Okay, so for this bar, we're in 4/4, and every one is a quarter note. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4 hits. And the first one, all we're gonna do is make a C major 7 chord. So that's our index finger on the 2nd fret of string 1. So I'm just gonna go ahead and strum all 4 strings. And then I'm gonna pull off. So this 2nd fret's gonna pull off to the open A string. Okay, so if pull-offs and hammer-ons are new techniques for you, check out this lesson real quick and then come on back. So again, I have a strum, and then I'm pulling off to the open A. Then I'm going to play the open 4, and then I'm going to take my either middle finger or ring finger, it doesn't really matter too much. We're going to go ahead and play the 5th fret of string 1. So altogether, I've got C major 7, pull off to the open A, open G, and then the 5th fret of the A string. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So all quarter notes. So we try together, 3, 4, strum, pull off, open, 5th fret. Now in bar 2, we're switching to 2/4. So in essence, all we're going to be doing is cutting the bar in half from the first bar. So all we're playing is, and it's an eighth note rhythm this time. So let me go ahead and play bar 1 and 2 together, count it out, and you can hear how it goes from 4/4 to 2/4. So bar 1 sounds like this: 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and then you're into bar 3. So we literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and. Okay, so we have eighth notes for bar 2. So all we're gonna do is take that index finger, put it on the 2nd fret of string 3. We're gonna play 3rd string, 2nd string, 4th string, 1st string. So you notice everything is open except for that first note. So again, it's just the index on the 2nd fret of string 3. And I'm picking 3, 2, 4, 1. Remember, it's eighth note, 1 and 2 and. So if I put 1 and 2 together, guys, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and. Without me calling it out, I have 3, 4. Okay. Now bar 3, we're going back to 4/4, and it's basically the same as bar 1, except we're adding a little flashy hammer-on pull-off lick at the end. So it sounds like this. Okay, so this one we have 1, 2, 3, and this one on beat 4 we're doing the hammer-on pull-off. So again, starts on C major 7, strum, pull off to the open A, open G, and then we're going to take that index finger this time and play the 5th fret. So that's 5th fret on string A. We're going to go ahead and hammer on to 7 and then pull off. So you're plucking one time and you're hammering on and pulling off. So try that. And when you get comfortable with it, we want to do a little quicker. So the first 2 hits are a 16th note, and the last pull off will be an 8th note, so that's going to last a little bit longer. And it gives it that nice da-da-da, where you hear quick and then held out. So here's what bar 3 sounds like all together. Okay, and if I count it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, going into bar 4, we're back into 2/4. It's almost identical to the 2nd bar. So this time around though, we're going to be using our middle finger to catch that 2nd fret of string 3. So the only difference that happens here is the last note is held for a quarter note. So here's what bar 4 sounds like: 1 and 2. So bar 4, I'm just taking the middle, putting it on the 2nd fret of string 3, playing that note, open E, and open G. And that open G holds out for a quarter note. So I have 1 and 2. So again, I'm picking 3, 2, 4, 1 and 2. Okay, so this time I want to use my middle finger because our next phrase goes to an A7 chord. So it leaves me in a perfect position to do an easy change to the 5th bar. So let's do this before we go into the 5th bar. Let's put bars 1 through 4 together. 3, 4. Okay, and if I count it out, I have 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. So going into bar 5, we're going to an A7 chord, so it's just one finger. So we have our index on the 1st fret of string 3. Everything else is open. So this is a cool little walk-up lick that happens for the next 3 bars. And you hear it's basically the same things that happens. The only thing that changes is that chord strum on beat 1. So for this, we're going into 3, 4. So if I count out that rhythm for bar 5, 6, and 7, you can hear we have 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and. Okay? So very important to remember that change right there. All right, so let's jump back into bar 5. This is what it sounds like. All right, so what we're gonna do is make that A7 chord again. So again, it's the index on the 1st fret of string 3. So I'm gonna strum this chord, take my ring finger, put it on the 2nd fret of string 1, and I'm gonna pluck and pull off to the open A. Okay, so I've got strum, 2, O, and then open G, open E. So again, I have strum, pull off, 4, 2. So my rhythm is 1, 2, and 3, end. So quarter followed by 8th notes. So again, bar 5. Okay, for bar 6, we're playing an A7 sus4. So all that happens, fancy name, right? All that happens is that middle finger replaces the index. So the index lifts up, middle finger goes on the 2nd fret of string 3. That's it, the rest is open. So we're actually doing the same thing, following it up. So we're gonna go strum, pull off, 4, 2. So watch the change of bar 5, strum, pull off, 4, 2. Bar 6, middle finger, strum, pull off, 4, 2. Okay, then bar 7 is gonna be the same thing. The only difference is that middle finger goes up a whole step. So you're on the 2nd fret right now. You're gonna go up to the 4th fret. And you're doing the same thing, strum, but this time you've got to reach. So look at that index finger. It stretches to the 2nd fret. Does the pull off, open 4, open 2. So we've got a little bit of an awkward stretch, but it's the same phrase that you're playing 3 times in a row. Only the chord changes the first hit. So bar 5, I had strum, pull off, 4, 2. Bar 6, strum, pull off, 4, 2. And bar 7, go up to the 4th fret, strum, reach with that index finger, pull off, 4, 2. Okay, now here's the tricky part. Bar 8, we're going to be hitting a harmonic on the 7th fret. So harmonics are really cool to throw into your playing sparingly because it really kind of spices things up a little bit. So again, to do a harmonic, probably the easiest one to start on is going to be the 12th fret of string 1. So the key with harmonics is that you want to play the 2nd metal bar. You want to play over the 2nd metal bar. You barely touch the string, and then you pick and you lift up. So pick and then lift up, and you'll get that nice ring. So practice on the 12th fret before you try this 7th fret right here. But we're going to use the same finger, the ring finger. And it's going to be placing that ring finger directly over the 2nd metal bar of the 7th fret on string 4. And you're doing the same concept. Barely touch the string, and then pluck and lift up. So it'll have a nice ringing sound. And that ring is going to last for a quarter note, and it'll buy us time to catch the next phrase, which is again harmonics, which sounds like that. So it's very tricky, and that's the whole reason behind using these 2 fingers to hold the ukulele in place, because we've got a bit of a jump. So that's what it sounds like if I put it together. So if we break down bar 8 again, I just have a harmonic on 7. Then I'm going to go to the 14th fret of string 3. I'm going to use my middle finger, playing that as a regular note. And then I'm going to take this index finger and I'm going to lay it flat on the 12th fret. Remember, it's the 2nd bar of the 12th fret across all 4 strings. But I'm going to pivot it up a little bit from the 1st string so that that 1st string is ringing out as an open. Now it's important that we don't hit the harmonic for the 1st string because we have such a quick jump to go back into repeating the A melody after the 8th bar. So again, I have the 14th fret of string 3 with my middle finger. It's a regular note. Then I'm going to lay this index finger flat on the 12th fret. So I want to get a harmonic for string 2 and string 4. And then open first. So curve it up a little bit, and you can see how it curves up. If I was covering all 4 to get a harmonic, you can see how much more flatter it would be. But I've got to curve that index finger up just a hair. That way I can let the 1st string ring open. So it sounds like this. So remember, 3 is a regular note, 2 is a harmonic, 4 is a harmonic, and open first is a regular note. So very tricky stuff. If we put it together again, 7 and 8 sounds like this. Remember, it's in 3/4. So real pretty sounding stuff, and it's really creative way to use harmonics to kind of, like we said, spice up your playing a little bit, because it's literally the same thing. You're playing that, but it sounds so much more elegant when you sparingly use it as the harmonic. So just a really cool trick that you can throw in from time to time. All right, so let's break down this, because we've learned the entire first part of the A melody. So I'm gonna play bars 5 through 8, and then we're gonna play 1 through 8, and then we're gonna talk about the alternate ending. So let's go ahead and play 5 through 8 first. Okay, and then 1 through 8 sounds like this. So once you play through bars 1 through 8, you're going to repeat it again. So you're going to go back and you're going to play bars 1 through 6. But instead of playing bars 7 and 8, you're going to sub out those 2 bars for these 2, so 9 and 10. So that's what they sound like. So nothing too hard. So basically, to give you a context, bar 5, 6, then here's the new one. So that's where it's going to be placed. Put it together. Okay, so for bar 9, again, we have that A sus without the 3rd, so it's that 4th fret of string 3, everything else is open, so that's that middle finger, right? So again, we're strumming, then we're gonna do that awkward stretch, right? 2 to 0 on string 1, and then open 4. Now this time, that open 4 is gonna last a quarter note, so you're stopping there for the bar, so you have strum, pull off, and then open G. So again, 1, 2, and 3. So this last bar has a cool little slide and pull off lick. So the slide's gonna be taking our ring finger, put it on the 4th fret of string 1. We're gonna slide up to 5, just a half step. So remember, with slide, we keep pressure down. And then we're gonna pull off to the 4th fret. So to add that middle finger to that 4th fret. So watch that, I slide with the ring, put the middle finger down on 4, pull off with the ring, and then I'm gonna pull off again to the open A. I'm only picking 1 time, that's the trick with this stuff. And we're following that up with the open G. So I have 4, 5, 4, 0, 0, 1 and 2 and 3. So still in 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. And that's what it sounds like. So if I put these last 2 bars together, guys, I have, and if I count it out, I have 1, 2, and 3, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay? So that's everything for our A melody. So again, this is a great piece for the intermediate player because it's not super challenging. The hardest part is that first ending with the harmonic jump and getting up here and making everything ring out. But when you're playing this, what you want to focus on is getting the notes to ring out with clarity and getting the timing down. It's a really sparse tune in terms of finger picking. You know, there's not a lot going on with the right hand, but it's a really airy sounding piece. So what you want to work on is, again, just the clarity of every note, letting things ring into each other and trying to create as pretty of a tone as you can. So watch how hard you're picking everything too. You want things to sound nice and light and pretty and airy sounding, real open sound. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you want to learn the second half, the B melody, we'll cover that in part 2 of the lesson at rockclass101.com. You can also get the complete tabs there that you can print off and follow along as a PDF format and access to that on-screen tab viewer. So all of that's available at rockclass101.com. Just do a search for Fingerpicking Etude number 7. All right, guys, I'll see you in part 2. Thanks.